Riding a bike is inherently dangerous. There's all kinds of ways you can get hurt on a bicycle. Sometimes it's your own fault because you weren't careful and you did a maneuver you should have avoided. Sometimes it's because you met an unexpected obstacle on your path. Sometimes a mechanical fault leads to an accident. The most damaging accidents are those where an automobile, a truck, or a bus is involved. But there's one cause of accidents that should never happen. Let me tell you the story of the 309 Montreal cyclists that had a totally unnecessary accident through no fault of their own, during accidents. This is based on a study just released by the Montreal Regional Public Health Management. After looking at the study, we will look at what are the solutions on the part of the motorist as well as the cyclist. If that's all you're interested in, fast forward to 8 minutes 10 seconds. The title of the study is Portrait of Doring on the Montreal Territory. The report was dated 2023 but just reported in the mainstream news in 2024. Let's start with the cover page. This is an interesting picture because it shows the ideal way to convert a 4-lane street into a safe route for cyclists. As we can see, it's a bicycle path that's dedicated to bicycles. At the left is a row of parked cars separated from the bike lane with a buffer zone about 1 meter wide, protected by a row of posts. Even if a passenger swings their door open without looking, there's no danger of scooping up a cyclist. And here, all the way near the right edge of the picture, we can see that it's a pedestrian lane. So with this type of facility, there's no danger of a bicycle-pedestrian encounter. Now we'll scroll down the report. We'll scroll past the authors of the report and the departments that were involved, the table of contents, and the lists of figures and tables. And here's the report itself. It begins by talking about the increasing popularity of cycling and its role in the reduction of greenhouse gases by reducing the number of cars on the streets, and some of the social advantages like reduction in noise and air pollution. But this creates a problem of coexisting with other users and an increase in bicycle accidents with motor vehicles. It notes that despite a significant improvement in cycling infrastructure in recent years, the city of Montreal still struggles to meet the high demand. Bicycle accidents with motorized vehicles are a major cause of hospitalization and death, but the report doesn't go into the number of accidents nor the number of hospitalizations or deaths. This study deals specifically with dooring accidents. In case you're not familiar with that term, dooring is the action of opening a door of a vehicle into the path of another road user, and that's usually an unsuspecting cyclist. Up until now, public health research on bicycle collisions with motor vehicles has focused mostly on collisions involving a moving vehicle. Since dooring is rarely studied alone, they wanted to concentrate on that issue with this exploratory study. The study covers the period of 2019 to 2022 on the Montreal territory for a total of 309 dooring accidents. This graph shows the number of incidents for women, the blue curve, and men, the green curve. The number of doorings with regard to sex isn't very different, 47% for women and 53% for men, but between age groups it varies enormously. It's much larger in the mid-range between age 20 and 49. An important variable that isn't in the study is how many kilometers people in the different age groups actually ride per year. They include children. I'm sure children ride far less distance than adults do. Next, we have these 3 pie charts, which I think we can ignore. You can read the whole study if you're interested, linked in the description. Then they looked at the number of doorings according to the day of the week. I would have expected more on weekends than during the week, but it's the contrary. I think this indicates that a lot of Montreals commute to work with their bicycles. They mentioned that a separate study revealed that 17.6% of travel within the city is done by bicycle. Here we have a graph that shows the time of day these accidents happen. Note the spike in doorings between 3 and 6 p.m. The authors note that this coincides with the increase in traffic, but I think there's another factor. Cyclists and motorists, being tired at the end of their workday, are probably less attentive. I don't find this bar graph useful, so I'm just going to skip it. You can study it by yourself if you want to. Next, they look at the month of the year these accidents happen. Since winter is long and cold, it stands to reason that if there are more people riding their bikes in late spring, summer, and early fall, there will be more doors swinging across the path of bicycles. Not a big surprise, I guess. This table shows the number of doorings on the 4 different classes of roads: local streets, municipal collectors, arteries, and provincial roads. It's concluded that there is much less danger on local streets than on collectors or arterial roads. For my part, if there's no bike path available, my second choice is always a local street. This table shows doorings according to type of bicycle infrastructure. The gist of this aspect is that 70% of doorings occur on streets that have no bicycle accommodation at all. Montreal has 970 kilometers of bicycle paths and multi-use paths, and of course no doorings have been recorded on those. Of the 30% that occurred where there is presence of a bicycle network, 60% of these took place on streets with a painted bicycle lane, where these represent only 29.5% of the whole bicycle infrastructure. This indicates that painted lines don't add a very big safety advantage. This table shows the number of doorings that occurred in each of the Greater Montreal's 33 districts as a percentage of the population. We notice that the areas with the highest concentrations of population seem to have the most incidents, but these may also attract more visitors and tourists. This table might interest you if you live in one of those districts. This last table shows the number of doorings per each of the 5 integrated university health and social services centers and the enormous disparity between them as a percentage of their population, ranging from 42% down to 2.8%. That's hard to explain. Is cycling less popular in certain places? Now for the study's recommendations. I'll summarize. Aim for 0 accidents, cycling facilities adapted to the context, make bike lanes physically separated from traffic, avoid painted bike lanes, prioritize central neighborhoods, create cycling facilities with parking nearby, and have buffer zones that are at least 1 meter. We've now reached the conclusion, which is more like a summary. In short, the addition of the Dutch reach technique in driving courses is a good way to reduce the risks of dooring. In case you're not familiar with this technique, let me explain. In countries where driving is on the right side of the road, like in North America, the Dutch reach consists of opening the door with the right hand. This forces the head and the eyes to turn towards the mirror and the door, making it easier to see what's coming behind. In addition to these recommendations, I'll add my own suggestion. When you're about to ride past a parked car, look through the car's rear window to make sure there's nobody in the car. If there is, keep a good distance as you pass it. Of course, check your mirror to make sure there's no cars coming behind you. Another point is that technology is coming to the rescue. Many new vehicles like this Ford come with an exit warning system which uses radar sensors to scan the area behind the parked vehicle and will lock the doors if a cyclist is spotted coming from behind. In the future, dooring might become a thing of the past. If you enjoyed this video, you could help my channel by leaving a like or by writing a comment or by sharing, or if you haven't already done so, by subscribing. Thank you for watching, and remember, never quit cycling.